And here we are.
Back again.
Back again on a Wednesday, July 9th.
It does not feel like Wednesday.
It doesn't either, does it? No. What's
Feels
it feel like
it
to
should
you?
be a Friday.
Does it really?
No, it doesn't. Does it to you?
No. No. It feels like Monday, which I like Mondays. Welcome.
All Mondays? Yeah,
Not all
welcome.
Mondays.
We're
Not all
gonna
Mondays.
get off on a tangent that quickly.
We are live on KSN Plus, the app that you can download on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV, and then you can watch us live as you are. Many of you are now on Facebook. So welcome back. And today we want to talk about maybe some of the cool places we've been. Is that events?
Well, kind of events. We were talking yesterday about vacation, and then that got us on a tangent later of all the cool places we've been able to go and see and do, and a lot of it because of our jobs. And then a lot of it, I think, too, just moving around. Both of us have moved around a little bit. So
Yeah.
We'd
be interested to find out some of the cool places that you've gone as well. And you can chime in on Facebook and
chime
we'll
in
address
now,
it.
live,
and chime in now
interactive.
and interact.
One of the things, because I felt like it was part of a vacation, which is what we talked about yesterday. I got to, which it tells me I should not have gone, because what did I call it? I called it the playoffs for the NBA. It's not. I went to the NBA Finals Game 7. Don't call it the playoffs. My bad.
And then if I would follow that up with, did you have good seats? And you would say,
no, I didn't even
you
go
didn't
inside.
even go inside.
So here's the deal. I went to the NBA playoffs because the finals, my bad.
Okay.
I went to the NBA finals because Game 7, I believe off the top of my head, first NBA finals Game 7 since 2013.
Okay.
So I'm a new basketball fan since moving to Kansas. I'm a huge football fan, but I knew I could identify that is going to be really cool. My boyfriend said, hey, let's go. So we drove down to Oklahoma. We booked a hotel the day before, and we said, what price would we pay for tickets to go inside?
What was it?
Too
high.
It was too high. We never went. So they never dropped below 1,000, and we said maybe another time.
So let me ask you, where's the coolest? Cool may not be the right word for it. The most unique, interesting place that you have been able to visit or partake in something based on your career.
Oh,
like your career opened up this opportunity to do something or go somewhere that you otherwise would not have even considered, and or maybe you didn't have access.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, I know.
Which is not something you've been sitting on that all day.
No, I haven't. It just came to me right now.
I want to think about that because I know that in 45 minutes when this is over, I'm going to say I have it, the perfect answer.
We're doing 45 minutes?
No, only 30, but I'll remember
you're
it
gonna
after.
have it in 45.
Yeah.
Okay, 15 minutes after it's over, you'll know. Okay,
That's always how it works. What off the top of your head? What do you think?
Oh,
You've been to
mine's
so many
easy.
cool
Yeah, I've been.
places.
Oh, geez. I mean, I look back on it sometimes and I think this isn't real. Like I didn't really do all of this. It wasn't part of any of this.
Yeah.
And then you see a photograph and you go, I was there.
I have one of yours that it's probably not on your
I got
list.
another one too. I'm going to write down here. Hold on.
Is it the
a second.
same one I'm thinking of?
I can't read your mind. What is it?
We're working on that next. The coolest thing, and I thought Jeff was making it up. We did a story about bald eagles, and Jeff in the studio in commercial break said, I let go of a bald eagle once.
I did.
I released it back into the wild, and I said, okay, Jeff. It turns out it was true.
It is true. I'm not going to show I can't
No,
find
show the
No,
picture.
it's going to take me 10 minutes to find the picture.
You can still find the picture.
Yeah, okay, talk for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I did. I released a bald eagle into the wild.
Yeah, which sounded like a fake story. Oh, well, not a fake story. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was Jeff being Jeff, and then it was real.
Because I do oftentimes sometimes.
But that was because of a story. You said they called you up and they said it was a
yeah, I can't find
like
it.
a rehabilitation for eagles.
I'm not going to be able to find it. Whatever. I'm not doing that. Sorry. It would take me forever.
It would.
We'll
leave it in the comments. Jeff will leave it in the comments on Facebook.
Oh, promises. I can do. Well,
maybe.
Why don't I tell you why we probably shouldn't do that?
I already know. I just remembered.
Okay. We'll do that later. But I would have showed it on the podcast. I don't know if I want to post it on the social.
Yeah.
For another reason.
He's in gear. He's wearing station gear for a station he no longer works for.
I used to work for another station in town, and I had the just basically a billboard for that station. So I don't know if I should. I'm sure it doesn't even matter because people that know me know where I worked. It's not a big deal. And
Until right now when you're making it one.
I am making it. I am. I've worked, a little known fact, I've actually worked at all 3 stations in this market. I've worked at 12, 10, and 3.
And 3 is your favorite.
Yes, of course it is. They pay me the most right now. So
and the other 2 don't pay you anything right now.
They don't pay me anything right now, so I can't really. So, but I was not on the air at one of them.
At one of them.
I was behind the scenes. Yeah, so right off the bat, the Eagle thing was cool. But for me, if it was work related too, the Eagle thing was work related. Gosh, there's so many of them, but I think it's got to be Cubs World Series, and not just that whole experience, and then doing the celebration at the end of the parade in the park with 1 million people behind us on stage doing the cut where they got the trophy. They're all like, they're on the mic and everybody's that was a. And then the All-Star game in San Diego that year, and the Cubs were it was 2016, and they were the best team in baseball by a mile, and they had the best player, and I was part of this incredible. Like, I just happened to be in Chicago for that period of time when the Cubs won the World Series. What are the chances of that, considering they're the lovable losers? Like, they don't ever win anything. And then I'm there, and they win, and then I leave, and they haven't won since. I think I had something to do with it. I really feel responsible for the Cubs World Series. But that was an incredible run. And I got to be part of not just being there to watch the games, but to cover the games with Chip Carey, Harry Carey's son, and Bob Denier, the Deer, and all these other ex-athletes, and then to be part of that broadcast at Wrigley for that when they were in town. And it was just an amazing.
Throw all of that in there, but then I don't know if people know, maybe they do, maybe they don't, that you covered sports for years. That's where you got your start in this industry. So that's something that also, you're a huge sports fan. It's funny to listen to you talk shop to our sports crew back there. I think sometimes, you still wish you were a part of the sports team.
No, I don't. It's passed me by. Yeah. It's a whole different ball game now. Yeah. That's sports analogy. Oh, wow. It's just a little different. But that was probably one of the coolest. But I've been to many. I mean, non-work related. I think I used to be a radio DJ at a country station, and I did everything. How old am I? Yeah, don't answer that.
I think earlier you said
don't
600 years.
It's pretty.
He's not 600 years.
Soft bones. Oh. Garth Brooks came to Wichita back in the 90s, and I worked for the television, not the television, worked for the radio station that was part of the bringing him in as a country station. And so he was here for like 3 or 4 nights or something. It might have been the whole week, but I got the chance to go backstage every night with him. And sit in his green room with him and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, can you text him right now?
The same thing with Kenny Chesney. I got a chance to spend a lot of time on Kenny Chesney's bus, his tour bus.
That's cool.
With I just forgot all about that until right now. We talk about these cool places, cool things that we have been able to do throughout our lives, based somewhat doors open on work. But so that too was kind of a work thing because I was a DJ.
Here's what's really funny about that.
Which I wasn't very good. If I was, I'd still be one, wouldn't I?
I think you made the right choice, right? Switching to news. But here's what is funny. So you have this memory of Kenny Chesney.
Way before he was a star.
That was my first concert. I think I was in like 5th grade.
No kidding. Yeah, it was way before he was a big star. He was playing at an old country bar in Cahoots. Some of you remember this is way out on East. It's called something different now. It might not even exist. I know it's not in Cahoots, but long story short, he was performing there, and then it was part of the radio station that brought him in, and then we went on his bus, and he threw me a beer, and I was like 19 at the time, so I didn't drink it, but he said, "You want to hear a new one? You want to hear a new one?" And he gets out his guitar and he starts strumming his guitar, and I think he may have thought I had some clout with the radio station, because at the time those artists, the goal is to try to get all of these radio stations to play your music. This is way before streaming and all of that stuff. So, they'd schmooze the radio stations everywhere, every stop they'd went when they were at kind of small times to get more radio play. Yeah. And the more radio, if you get the program director to play your track more, then it's all about plays. It's not it's not who's listening, but the more it's played, the higher it goes on the charts. And that's what the chart is. It's how often are these songs being played.
So did you go anywhere with Kenny Chesney after?
No, I got off the bus and went home.
Okay. So
And I thought that guy's never gonna make it. Man, he was terrible. And I was wrong.
and joke's on you.
Yeah, I'm sure he thought the same thing. He's like, this hoser.
Oh man.
He's not gonna be able to do anything in his life with his life. And
No.
and he was right.
No, in college, I got to interview Lee Bryce, also a country artist.
Oh, nice.
And he, at the time, we went to the hotel.
Yeah.
It's him and his people, which as I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, that sounds sketchy. It wasn't.
This sounds very sketchy.
So we went, his people are there, we do the interview. And then afterward, when we were in college, I went with a friend who also she was the one that was actually on the radio station and I was in the broadcast program. And so she said, will you come with? I said, great. And so they said, come to the bar after with us. So we went there and I was too afraid to go.
Oh no!
It was like too weird and sketchy. We went to like the hotel bar where we were supposed to meet them, and it just wasn't the right vibe. But that was a moment where it's like, I have no business being here. We were 21, 22 at the time, but it was like, this seems weird. So I didn't go. I chickened out. I have no regrets about chickening out.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, you did the same thing with Kenny Chesney.
No, I didn't chicken out. He played the song, I left.
And you got off the bus.
And I don't remember what song he played, but. So yeah, and I got a host of other things here, but I feel like I'm hogging. I'm like, where have you gone? Like, you don't need to be work related.
Not work related.
No, not work related. You've been to some amazing events in your life.
I try not to say no. I've also said no to a lot of. I say that. I've also said no to a ton. Waste Management, which is the huge golf tournament in Phoenix, that was really fun. I had a friend who worked for the Suns also when I was in college, and he said, "Hey, I need a date. Will you come with me? VIP tickets." An all-inclusive drink and food package. We're in the Suns tent, and I couldn't go. I had to work.
Oh man! See, that's kind of that's the whole yin and yang of this career.
Yeah,
you get a lot of opportunity to go to places if work sends you, and then you don't get a lot of opportunity to go do cool things that are not work related because usually in our industry. You're working.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. We love to work. We love this. It's not even work for us.
We also love events, though.
Yeah. You know what's weird? I don't.
Do you? Oh no.
I do. I get anxious in big crowds. I'm not a.
Yeah, I do know that.
And I don't know how that sort of came about, but I'm not really comfortable in a large crowd situations, which is strange because I've had to be in large crowds.
All the time.
And another cool event, the NFL draft when it was in Chicago.
That's cool.
I got to do that. It was really neat. And then Chiefs training camp. I covered Chiefs training camp it used to be in River Falls, Wisconsin. And I was a young, up and coming sportscaster. And I got the chance to go to Chiefs camp 4 or 5 times, which was really cool. And
I'm
they
sure
weren't
back then the access was different.
It was great, and they weren't. Listen, and it's different Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. So you're like, oh, no. Listen, we were like,
this is when they weren't good.
This is they were okay, but it was the Gunther Cunningham era and the beginning of the Dick Vermeil era, which they were very good. We had that, and so there was that 2 years of Gunther, and then a Dick Vermeil.
Which will make you a sports fan. I got to go in Michigan, Michigan Speedway, Roush. You know Roush?
Yeah, Roush Racing.
Roush Racing.
Yeah,
so I got to watch a NASCAR race from like the owner's box of Roush.
You a racing fan?
I was then, and I said, "Oh wow!" I said, "I think I like NASCAR." And my dad kind of leaned over. He goes, "You don't like NASCAR. You like the owner's box." And I watched all the people who were out in the metal stands, and there was a thunderstorm. They had to delay the race. And I said, well, I don't think I'd like it if I was out there with all those people.
There is this ongoing debate that I have with many of my 2 friends. I have this theory, okay? And this is just not a theory for anyone else except me. It's not a theory for me, it's a fact for me, but it might be a theory for other people. My theory is this, that if you attend an event, a concert or a sporting event in a suite, if you're invited to a suite, it's really hard to go back to the outside seating area.
Yes.
Not everybody believes that. There are some people that are really like, we got to be in the atmosphere, got to be down there, got to hear the. Right. Well, we're on the same page here. But I understand the other. But for me, once I go sweet, I can't go back.
Okay. Yes. However, I think it goes back to the NBA playoffs thing.
Okay.
I went to Oklahoma City just to be there for the excitement.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to buy the ticket. I knew I wasn't going to go inside. And I still said, I want to be with the people. I want to be where the sweat is, where the cheering is. And where we started watching the game, it was like a nicer bar restaurant. And then we said, we have to go to a rowdy one. And so by the time we got to the end, we were in kind of a...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's going crazy.
Oh, yeah. And people are shaking their drinks. I mean, and it was a mess, but it was so cool to be a part of that. And I think that's what you're talking about. And you don't get that in the box.
You don't. You're not part of like the special moment of whether victory or whatever it is, where everybody's celebrating together and they've invested. Yeah, I get that. It's hard for me to go to the box. It's hard for me to get back out of the box.
Agree with that.
Just saying.
We did have some pretty cool things. Let's see. John got to meet George Strait and Faith Hill in the 90s at the Coliseum.
That would be meeting George Strait would be really, really cool. Like that dude is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. John also said that he was in cahoots that night.
So he was there with Kenny Chesney, or he was just...
John let us know.
Oh, yeah.
I think it sounded like, and where, somebody said a blimp. I'm trying to find that comment now.
Well, that's random.
Isn't that cool, though?
A blimp?
Got to go in a blimp.
Blimp would be, a big blimp.
Which would be super cool. And then Karina said, most interesting place I've been in was the mountains in Colorado.
Yeah.
But I've also been, to Niagara Falls, and that was pretty neat.
Okay.
I like that. And Corey said, Jeff, you get to go back home to Hayesville, Kansas once in a while to visit.
I do. Well, there are quite a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, passing through, waving at the old Vickers gas station, which is pretty neat. One of the other places I wrote, I want to throw this out. So the Final Fours, I've been to several Final Fours.
Oh.
Well, I've been to 3 Final Fours.
That's very cool.
2 with the Jayhawks.
Okay.
1 with the Shockers. And those were amazing events to go to and to be part of that, all that history.
Especially for KU.
The KU one was neat. It was back to back.
Yes.
So it was like 03 and 04. It might have been 02, 03. Get my years right. And the first year they lost to Maryland in the Final Four in the Final Four. The second year they lost the championship game to Syracuse. And then so that was really neat. One was in Atlanta, and one was in I don't even remember where the other one was. Shame on me for not. And then the other one, then Atlanta again for the Shockers in 2013. So it was really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Deal.
I got to go to
New Orleans.
Was it New Orleans?
One was New Orleans and 2 in Atlanta.
My dad has been to several Final Four games for work.
Okay.
And one year he went and KU was playing. So this would have been 2012?
They were in there in 2012. They were in there in 2008.
So it was 2012.
Okay.
So we did a Spirit Day at school. Remember, I'm not from Kansas. And it was, the theme for the week was Wizard of Oz, I guess, for that day.
Ooh.
And so I took it and I interpreted it as KU. So I went in the KU Final Four shirt, the KU hat, and the KU face paint.
Good for you.
So I have a picture, though, now from 2012 in the KU face paint. So I can claim I'm not a bandwagoner, but I got to see KU play in Allen Fieldhouse. And it was, I will say, I walked in thinking, oh, everyone says their sporting event's pretty cool, or their team spirit. And I walked in and it was
So you've seen a game in Allen Fieldhouse?
Yes.
And when was that?
This was 2 years ago.
Okay, so it is the most electrifying college arena in all of college basketball.
Oh, it's incredible.
In my opinion.
I agree. Another one, I got to go to, I got to see a president talk.
Oh.
And I won't say which president because it wasn't political, but I think it's like a sporting event. It's kind of cool just to go, regardless of whose team is playing. And it was last minute. I got a call and they said, hey, we have a ticket. You have to come now. You have to be dressed professionally. and you have to be here within the next 30 minutes.
Yes.
And I was in a work training camp, and it was something for college, and I said, can I go? And they said yes. And I got in the car, and I had a feeling that somebody from school would call, from my old high school would call, and they did. And so it was cool just to go, and you go through the security, and you're packed into the gym. But it was cool to then experience that as well.
It is. And I had that one experience with that. Politics. This individual was not the president yet. And I got to go, and I drew they did a lottery, and I got the lottery, and I got to do a sit down, a one-on-one with him. And while he happened to be visiting El Dorado because he has some family ties in El Dorado in Butler County. So that was kind of a neat deal. And at the time, this individual was not the nominee yet, but would eventually get there and then become president.
Very cool.
So that was a neat deal.
It is always interesting to have that experience. I did I don't know if he ever became the presidential nominee, but he was a front runner for a particular party, and I got sent to cover it, and it was the wife, though. And to this day, I have never talked to somebody who was as media trained as the wife. It was the craziest experience. That one was a really interesting one.
So, I'm leaving a ton of stuff out.
And you'll remember it in 15 minutes.
No, there's stuff I remembered. It's just, it could go on and on. I could drone on about, I got to do this.
We talked about the eagle.
To go to,
Stephanie said a bald eagle flew over me while paddleboarding over the weekend.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because she paddleboarded for 77 consecutive hours.
That's so fun, though. I also hear you're really good, by the way.
She's fantastic.
And I hear he's not.
I am terrible.
I did ask that. He said no.
So, I just, there's just so many interesting events and cool things that have happened through the career as well. But then also, not the career. But I'm not that outgoing, which is a problem. I'm not an adventurer. I'm trying to be more of one. I'm trying to take more adventurous risks.
But
I'm a creature of habit.
I can help you.
My wife will tell you. I'm a creature of habit. I'm very regimented in my routine.
Yeah.
I don't like to deviate, but I'm trying to do that more because I feel like I'm missing out on a lot.
What do you want to do that you feel like you're missing out on?
Well, I've never been out of the country.
Okay.
I've been to Canada. I don't know if that counts.
That counts.
Fish, but. Yeah. No, I'd like to take my wife out of the country at some point.
Your wife would like you to take her out of the country.
And that's a big step for me. That's a big step for me. And I'd like to, we'd like to get together and let's plan something.
Yeah.
So
I will say, because you had mentioned that you don't like large crowds.
Right, I don't.
So Jeff had never told me that. And we had done coverage 3 from downtown.
Yeah.
And so we're going through Nafsker Park, and it's packed. And I am a little bit of the opposite, where I love crowds. I want to be in the crowd. I want to be in the chaos. I want to say hi to people. I want to do all the things. So I said, come on, Jeff, we're going to walk through the middle of Nafsker Park.
Oh, man.
And he is so uncomfortable. He doesn't want to do it, and he does it. Fast forward a week later, and we're doing the parade for Riverfest, the Sundown Parade. And he said, oh, by the way, I hate crowds. It gives me anxiety and I don't like it. And I said, that's something you definitely should have told me before now. And then I start replaying all of the things on road trip that I've made you do, on events that we've emceed together.
But that's the thing. I just need a little nudge.
Like a push.
If I get a little, I need a big kick. And then I'm open to all of those new experiences. But I really need to get busy. I need to get cracking because my knees are cracking as I'm getting older. I need to get busy living or get busy dying, one of the two. Yeah.
Is there something that you can think of that you say, I really want to do that? So forget about going out of the country. I can't help you with that.
See, you're putting me on. That's my train of thought. There's nothing that I think that I'm just not. I'm excited to do some events coming up. We got the Chicago Marathon. I'm going to go and watch my stepdaughter run in her first marathon in Chicago. I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
It's in October.
That's huge.
And that's a big crowd thing with a lot of people, and you're moving around, and so there's that.
Oh yeah, that's a good step.
That's a step.
Marissa said I went to Grand Teton National Park last month. It was beautiful.
Oh, I heard that's an amazing place.
That's
I've never
on my
been.
list.
Yeah,
And
Montana would be a place. Wyoming. I've never been to those two places.
Yeah.
Those are two states that I'd love to check off my
my
box.
There's a lot of states.
A lot of states. There's a lot. Yeah, there's 50 of them.
Corey
It's pretty
said,
cool.
how did you like seeing Oklahoma Thunder win this year with the fans? I loved it. I stayed out even after they won, and I stayed out at the bar, and I just watched the chaos and the fun. And keep in mind, I worked the next day. So I woke up and drove from Oklahoma City, and I said, it'll be okay. I'll be tired. But I mean, it's fun just to go and experience that.
That's such a long drive, too. I mean, you'd have
It was
probably
2.5
just exhausted.
hours.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You and I are kind of alike. We like, I'm a people watcher.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of sitting and watching people, which sounds real. I say it out loud. It sounds really sketch.
WPD.
That's not. Yeah. But, we like to see I like to watch other people having fun.
And you like to have
That
fun.
brings me joy when I'm sitting somewhere and watching random
people
crazies
have fun.
have a great time.
Yeah.
So
do you do any of the craziness, the face paint?
I don't. I wish I did. Like, I wish I had that. I envy people who are just they're such a free spirit that they can really, even grown adults that can lean into something and just feel like a child again. Like I envy that. I wish I was into that. I'm not a face painter. I don't wear other people's jerseys. That's not the kind of sports
I'm all in.
I know.
I'm the buy-in.
You're the
I
opposite.
am the face painter.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go to a game, like I wasn't even going inside, and I bought a shirt because I want to be a part of the fun and the community and the fanfare. But I will say I'm not a bandwagoner. I am a loyal fan, and I can claim that because I'm an ASU grad, and we were really bad for years, and so I know how to lose well, but I want to wear the shirts. I want to be a part of the fun, the chaos, all of it.
I get that. I'm trying with Kansas State. My son goes to K-State.
Yes.
So I am working on, I've got some K-State gear, like the purple hat.
Which I was very excited for you.
And I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing to wear. Like, I don't rock. I just don't wear college stuff.
You wear
not because I'm
WSU stuff.
I do.
Yeah.
I have it, but it's not my
Your thing.
But it's not. I'm not against it.
Here's the deal.
I'm trying.
Last year, K-State played Arizona State in Kansas, and I had to miss the game. I hope that they do it again this year because I think it would be so much fun to go and to tailgate and to do the things. And
it's fun up there.
I know your family would be there. I'd get to see your wife. I love Stephanie. And so I think it would be fun of just, I don't think that they're playing this year in
I don't think they are either.
Kansas.
No, I don't think it's
In 2 years, we're going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope to get up to a game or two this year. I'm trying to get more into that.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I know we're running out of time. Is your son into it? Like, has he adopted the excitement?
He's not.
Oh.
He's not into the sports. Yeah, he's not. And I wish he was, but that's okay. I'm not going to be like, you've got to support the Cats. He supports them in other ways through his fraternity and his tuition.
With the thousands of dollars that he gives to that university in need.
More than that. So yeah, no, he supports them in other ways. He's not like donating to the NIL fund or anything like the collective. No, he's not. Well, we got about a minute.
With that time, John said, take her to the Maldives Islands.
Ooh.
And I'm putting that in there, making that a point. That's for you, Stephanie, because I think she would like that.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
You want to do this again tomorrow? Are we doing this tomorrow?
I think I will be free at this time tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow, so we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.